Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Good morning. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. And if you know our show, then you know that Eye on the Valley is brought to you by SCVI and I Lead Charter Schools. We're a network of charter schools. We've got about, 6 schools here in the North LA County. We've got schools in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited online school. Yeah, that's transitional kinder all the way through 12th grade. And I know I've heard parents say, can't put a first grader on online school. Yes, you can. And they're going to get more support than they probably would in a regular classroom school. That's iLead Online. We've also got a burgeoning homeschool program, iLead Exploration. You know what? Don't worry about all the names of the different schools. Just visit us at ileadschools.org and take a look at all of our schools, our classroom-based schools, our virtual schools, and whatever's best for you and your student, then you can peruse from there. So start out at ileadschools.org, and then you can navigate to any one of our schools. So yeah, we've got our eye on education in Santa Clarita and across the nation, but like the show says, we also keep our eye on the valley, keeping you apprised of everything that's going on in and around town, and we do all that while trying to bring a smile to your face, because you know, you smile longer and you're going to live longer and live better. And so well, gosh, let's just let's keep it upbeat and have a good time. Man, I love doing this show. It's just a great time of week to be doing a radio show, and a reminder that it's Friday. Producer Sarah she always gets us the best guests, and I get to goof off with my brother and pick on Engineer Patty and.
Yes, you do.
It's good to have you back, Patty. We missed you last week.
I missed you guys too.
Yeah, we busted your chops a little bit, but you were out there busting your hump with the big boss, Carl.
Sir, yes, sir.
Did you have a good time at the Home and Garden Show?
I did. It was fun.
It was a great
really
event.
Fun. Yeah.
It was a great event. But anyways, yeah, we get to goof around, have a good time, and I get to spend a couple of hours with you. Speaking of that, where are you this morning? You in your car on the way to work? There's a lot of folks out there in their car on the way to work. There wasn't too many issues out there on the roads, just a little bit of congestion. So there's a lot of you in your cars heading to, well, wherever you're heading to. You know, I'm always surprised when I venture outside the valley with the incredible range of our KHTS radio signal here on whether it's 98.1 or 1220 AM. You know, as I go south, I find that it's the FM 98.1 that is pretty strong as I head into the valley. But when I head up into the Lancaster Antelope Valley area, the 1220 signal on AM is just really, really strong. And so well, maybe you're at home as well. Maybe you're streaming on hometownstation.com on the website, and you're streaming there. Or you know, when I'm at home, I like to listen to KHTS on my Amazon device. I just tell Alexa to play KHTS for me, and she obliges. Or you know, maybe you're one of those mobile folks. You're out for your morning walk, listening on the KHTS radio app. Well, wherever you are, however you're listening, we're glad you're here. You're in for a great show today. We've got wine, fine dining. We've got a party in town at the swankiest new hotspot, and then we've got playtime. Lots of playtime. We're going to dedicate an entire hour to playing around today. So if you're looking for a fun way to spend the next couple of hours, you're in the right spot. So that's right. So we're going to start with, we're going to start with my best buddy, Robert Reyes. He is proprietor of Reyes Winery in Agua Dulce and Reyes Winery on Main restaurant and tasting room. We're also going to meet a little bit later on Dr. Claudia Acosta. She's the president of the Santa Clarita Sister Cities program, and she'll be calling in with Mike Frankie from the city of Santa Clarita. They're throwing that shindig that I talked about tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. So a busy hour number one, and in hour number two, we're going to be talking to Nicole Huguenin from iLead Schools. Get this, Nicole's title is Director of Play. Can you imagine having that job, being Director of Play? Gosh, well, so she's going to be here. She's going to be sharing about the importance of play, how important it is for little kids and for big kids, for young kids, for old kids. Like I said, play and laughing and having a good time is an important part of staying healthy and young. So, and speaking of play, stick around to the end of the show. We're going to play with Big T and me, and he'll have some trivia and some fun facts and some general all-purpose silliness. So we'll goof off toward the end of the show. Going to be a fun show. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, my first guest is, I just love talking to this guy. He is a true Renaissance man and can talk with authority about so many different things. He's an architect, an artist, a grape guru, and a restaurateur. In fact, he's the owner of the hottest restaurant here in town. Robert Reyes is also general manager, like I said, at Reyes Winery. His family planted their 16-acre vineyard here in Santa Clarita in 2004, and they've been producing premium wines right here in the SCV out on Sierra Highway on the east side of town, right here up the road in Agua Dulce. So there you're going to find their tasting room right alongside a beautiful, picturesque vineyard. But he also brings his award-winning wines along with some of the most amazing food in the valley to pair with them right here to downtown Newhall. Mr. Reyes, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We always love having you come in, and gosh, you've been a real busy guy. As if you weren't busy enough the last few years, you made yourself real busy starting late last year, early this year. So, but before we get to your place here on Main Street, let's go ahead and reset your story for those folks that maybe don't know or haven't heard your story. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your background and then the history of your winery here on Sierra Highway?
Well, sure. I've had a passion for wine and winemaking for many years, and so about 20 years ago, 20 years ago, purchased the land in Agua Dulce and planted the 16-acre vineyard. And we had our first commercial wines of the 2009 vintage that were bottled in 2011, and we've been in the wine business since. And so it's been a great, fun trip, and we enjoy every minute of it. Love the vineyard, love the winemaking process, meeting people, and just sharing the fruit of the land, so to speak.
And when you talk about it, and I've seen you at work, and it seems like you couldn't be happier. But the last time you were here, you shared a little secret with me that going commercial with your wines wasn't your original intent. You intended this to be just a little hobby kind of thing. What happened?
That is correct. And so when I purchased the land, I didn't realize how big it really was. And then I thought, since I'm going to plant the vineyard, I might as well plant the whole thing, because the original intention was really to make wine for family and friends, but it was just too big, and so I thought I'd going to plant the whole thing and then sell the grapes and use some for myself. But as it turns out, it was a little bit much, and I thought, okay, we got to go commercial now.
Well, to have too much wine is a good problem to have.
Right. And now we have an outlet here
Yeah.
In Old Town Newhall.
Yeah, so tell us about that. So you said you opened the wine room on Sierra Highway here in 2011.
Correct.
And so you'd been doing that for about 10 years, and you decided to bring your wines here to downtown Newhall. Where did that decision come from? And talk to me about the evolution of this place here on Main Street.
It's a funny thing you'd ask me that. I was having lunch with Carl Goldman right across the street at the old Persian restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Right across the street from our place now. And it was a vacant lot then. And Carl pointed that out to me. He says, you can do something with that. And I looked at it and I thought, man, what a great idea. And so he gave me all the information and I followed it up. And it took 5 years to be where we are today in that place.
Wow. All right.
So it was, we were there planning one of our wine festivals that we were doing at the vineyard in Agua Dulce.
All right.
So that was the planning stage of that. And that's where that particular property came up, and been working on it ever since.
Well, yeah, Carl's quite the visionary.
Yes.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. I've lived here in town for, over 4 decades now, and that little empty lot had been there forever, and it did kind of stand out, but it always seemed maybe just a little bit too narrow to really do anything. Well, what you decided to do is you went up, right?
That is correct.
Why don't you describe the place for our listeners?
Sure. It's a 3-story building, and on the first floor we have the main dining room, kitchen, restrooms, etc. And on the second floor we have offices.
Okay.
And also on the second floor we have a processing facility. We're actually a winery, so we have a facility there. It's a small facility. And then on the top floor, the rooftop has the tasting room, with a capacity inside the tasting room of about 30,
Mm-hmm.
but the open area plus the tasting room is a capacity of 115. And we have filled it to capacity a couple of times, and it's
Oh,
been
yeah.
fun. It's great space. People love it. And in fact, we are working on putting up some windscreens because, as you know, when the winds come up,
Sure.
it's bothersome. And
Mhm.
so we're putting up a see-through vinyl material
Okay.
to screen the wind, and,
Okay.
and that'll make it a lot better too.
Okay, just as long as it doesn't cut down on that view.
That's right. It's not going to cut down
All
on
right.
the view. Absolutely. We
Because
have
that's
a
one of
great
the
view up
amazing
there.
things you do, because everybody else everybody else in town is a maximum of 2 stories high, and so you
Yes.
kind of sit up there on that rooftop perched above everybody. And I've been there a few times myself, and I always love taking somebody new there because it makes me feel like I know what's going on, right? And, hey, we got to sit on the rooftop, and we're going to angle ourselves, and we've got to get there right about 6:30 so we can have a glass of wine as the sun goes down.
Perfect.
And then the stars start to come out, and then you've got all the little twinkle lights in the trees
Yes.
here on Main Street. It's just a spectacular view.
I'm glad those Christmas lights are still up. I
Oh,
hope
yeah.
they keep them throughout. They're beautiful.
Oh
They're
yeah,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous, and like I said, you just sit there and you look out across the rest of the valley and enjoy some of these incredible wines that you're venting just up the road here. Now, I wanna clarify for folks, because one of the great things about your location here on Sierra Highway is it does have that feel, with the rolling hills, and it is just a little bit out of town, so that people get that feel of being in wine country, and
Correct.
folks enjoy that. You didn't relocate. You didn't close the winery on Sierra and move it here. You've still got the tasting room on
Oh,
Sierra Highway?
absolutely. The tasting room in Agua Dulce is still open, and we get a lot of people there on weekends, and it's fun. The views are beautiful, especially now that the vines are out and
Oh,
green
yeah.
again. And yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic. And so folks can come and do kind of the traditional wine tasting in your wine room and
That is-
explore the vineyard a little bit.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
purchase some wines. Do you have a wine club?
Yes, we have a wine club. We have a good-sized wine club, and a lot of those folks come in all the time.
Yeah.
And then of course, when we do our quarterly shipments, one is coming up in June. Then at that point, and we did have a pickup party here.
Uh-huh.
For our members right here in Old
Oh,
Town
here-
Newhall.
okay.
So we did that, and I'm thinking that we're going to do that again because
Okay.
it just brings people out, and it's fun, and it's different, and yeah, it's great, and people enjoyed it, and they still go back to the vineyard, but it's
Oh,
it's
sure.
great to have them here.
Yeah, and like you said, you guys are open on weekends, so and it's a great way. The way Sierra Highway kind of winds through the canyons there. It's a beautiful drive.
Yes.
So you're looking for something to do on a Saturday or a Sunday midday. Go for a little drive up the canyon
That's right.
and enjoy the view, and then stop by and grab a bottle of wine. And,
And it's really about 25 minutes from the heart of Santa Clarita. So
Yeah,
it's really
from-
not that far if you
and,
think about it. It
you
just
know-
seems that way, but it's not.
It does, right? Growing up here, well, everything seemed so remote. I grew up in Saugus, and Canyon Country seemed really remote. But now that all the different roads have gone through and things like that, like I said, I live in the heart of Saugus. Agua Dulce is 10 minutes from me.
You bet, that's right.
And I just go up Vasquez Canyon, and you guys are right around the corner there. And where we sit here in downtown Newhall, it's, probably 15, 20 minutes up the canyon?
It's about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, like I said, it's close enough to where it's in the neighborhood, but remote enough where you get that beautiful drive.
Get
and-
the feel of being just the outdoors and the mountains and the vineyard. It's beautiful.
Absolutely, it's gorgeous. Now, I ask you this all the time because I know that folks really, when they think of wine country, you think of Sonoma, you think of Napa, maybe Paso Robles or Santa Barbara as further south. But you discovered, because of the geology here, specifically where you're located in Agua Dulce, it's perfect for growing wines, correct?
That is correct. We have an AVA, which is an acronym for American Viticultural Area.
Oh, okay.
And it's a small area. It's only about 10 square miles, and we are in that appellation. And so we have a unique climate. The cool nights, the winds. It's the soils. Great. It's great for growing grapes there. And we've been fortunate enough to make some really good wines and win some medals and. it's been great.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I want to talk about some of those things specifically when, in just a little bit. I want to talk about the different plates that you've got, the different wines that you've got. But just one more time, we talked about kind of the physical setup of your restaurant here on Main Street, but let's talk about the experience. So somebody shows up. It's Friday morning right now. Friday night is a perfect time to come out to Reyes Winery on Main. So what kind of experience can folks expect as they come into the place here?
Sure. We have a varied menu, and there's different foods for everybody, including vegans like me, mostly. And it's a fun place. You know the food is. We get great reviews on food, and of course you enjoy the wine. And interestingly, we've kept the same prices on our wines as we do at the winery. So that is an added advantage.
That's great.
Of visiting us, because it's a great value, and we intend to keep it that way.
Yeah, so you're still getting that,
Yes.
that discount price on the wines, and that is fantastic.
Yes. So yeah, most restaurants, of course, are going to double the price of a retail price of a bottle of wine, right? Well, we
Sure.
don't, because we produce it, and it's just an extension of our winery in Agua Dulce.
Well, that's a pretty good point, because oftentimes that's the way restaurants make a significant portion of their profit, right? Because they're buying the wine, and then they've got to add that markup. But because you're making it, you don't need to add that additional.
That is correct. That is correct. Yes.
That is a good point.
So yes,
Robert,
we want to bring experiences. We want people to visit and leave having had a great experience on food and wine, and just service in general.
It is an amazing experience. I actually ran into you the first time I was over there, and I've been back several times since. And like I said, I always enjoy bringing new folks with me, and been talking about you quite a bit, so much so that my mom picked up the phone the other day and said, "Hey, we just went over to the place you've been talking about, Reyes Winery on Main," and they absolutely loved it. And they knew to expect good wine, but what knocked their socks off was the food, and I want to talk about that when we come back. Robert Reyes is joining us this morning. He's a general manager at Reyes Winery and the owner of the hottest place in town, Reyes Winery on Main. When we get back, you've got some special events coming up as well. So I want to talk about the food, the wine, the special events, everything that's going on here right in downtown Newhall. I am Matt Watson. This is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley, and you're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
Want to laugh at TMJ and that obscenely overpriced bike guard? Discover the 3 most common mistakes that must change to stop TMJ for good. Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Palucki, and WebMD chooses me as best chiropractor in functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpalucki.com. That's drpalucki.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Dunkin' is celebrating spring with Dunkin' Lemonade Refreshers. Try the strawberry dragon fruit, peach passion, or the mango pineapple. Don't forget to grab a bite to eat. How about the tomato pesto grilled cheese, roasted tomatoes, pesto spread, and white cheddar on sourdough? Order ahead with the Dunkin' app and accumulate points. Located on Bouquet Canyon in the Lowe's Shopping Center and on Sierra Highway in Canyon Country. Both with curbside pickup, or use the drive-thru at Sierra Highway. Santa Clarita runs on Dunkin'.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
Moms, dads, this is Carden Ellis, owner of Unipest. If your house has ants, spiders, or gophers, or you want a free orange oil termite inspection, you have to call Unipest Termite and Pest Control, Santa Clarita's only factory-certified orange oil pest control company. We specialize in organic, low-impact, and traditional pest control options that are all kid-friendly, pet-friendly, and affordable with no contracts, and we're SCV owned and operated. Call us at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
Because of Owen Patterson and Owen, a little girl can feel safe to play in her yard again. A father can ride his motorcycle to work again. A school teacher can teach again. My name is Susan Owen, managing partner at personal injury firm Owen Patterson and Owen. For over 44 years, our firm has been dedicated to helping the injured. Owen Patterson and Owen restores hope and justice after any accident. If you've been injured, call for a free case evaluation at 888-OPO-WINS. opolaw.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. This morning, I'm joined by General Manager at Reyes Winery and the owner of Reyes Winery on Main Restaurant and Tasting Room, Robert Reyes. Robert, we were talking before about this wonderful restaurant that you opened up. Gosh, it was right around Christmas time, right before the first of the year, wasn't it?
Just before Christmas, yes.
Yeah. So now I understand that now that you guys have got your sea legs and everything is running smoothly and you're packing the place, you've got some special events coming up here in the late spring. So, Patty, did you remember? It's Mother's Day is coming up.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, okay. Make sure you take care of Mom. Mr. Reyes, you got anything going on for Mother's Day?
Absolutely. We have a great brunch coming up for Mother's Day, and I don't know how many spaces may be left, on reservations, but
well, that's a good
if
point
anybody's
to bring
interested, they should be calling in now, and I can give you my number.
Absolutely.
It's, the number at the restaurant is, excuse me, 661-621-7777.
It's easy to
Call
remember.
Call in for reservations there.
621-7777. That's easy. And I usually do it. I don't like talking to the people much, so I do it online. And that's ReyesWineryOnMain.com, and you can make reservations there as well, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so and you're right. It's even when it's not a special event like Mother's Day or something like that, you guys book up kind of quickly. So even if folks are looking at having dinner tomorrow night, they're going to need to get on here pretty soon.
Yes, that is correct.
Pretty soon. So what else? You've got some other events coming up, I think, after we get past Mother's Day as well.
Yes. We're putting together Tuesdays on the Rooftop, which is kind of a cigar event for those folks that love their cigars, and they can come up, have dinner, have their
cigars. That's a good
cigars.
point, because it's open air.
It's open air, and yes, we would, even at that, we would segment it out so that in case others that
are bothered by that,
bothered by the smoke
can
or
still
whatever,
experience it.
But yeah, so we can segment it off and separate that.
What a great idea! So you go up there with some friends and spark up a cigar, order a couple of bottles of Reyes wine, have a charcuterie board, some appetizers.
All of that, yes.
Appetizers are amazing, by the way. I always, because I'm watching my figure a little bit, but I just can't resist. You've got to get the appetizer, and you can't skip the main dish.
Right.
And then you've got to get the desserts as well. So
that's right.
So maybe behave yourself, before you head out to Reyes Winery for a couple of days, and that way you can splurge a little bit, and then you don't have to wait for Mother's Day or Tuesdays on the Rooftop with your cigar buddies. You can make anytime you're there, whether it's a date night or a night out with the guys or a night out with the girls. Any night can be or any day can be a special occasion at Reyes Winery on Main.
Yes, and we continue to book special events as well. Some smaller events, some larger events, but we are gaining some momentum in that area.
Well, you had a special event out there, I understand, yesterday. Some VIPs out at your place yesterday.
That is correct. We had a Cinco de Mayo celebration, and it was full house at the Rooftop.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah. I was there. I'm not there very often, but I was there last night, and it was really fun.
Okay. Yeah, it sounded like a lot of fun. Now, let's take a look at your menu. Just off the top of your head. I can go ahead and pull it up. But what are some of the things that y'all are serving?
Oh, yes. We're serving, scallops, shrimp.
So we have a great Cuban sandwich,
by the way.
I haven't had the Cuban sandwich.
Yes, that is an
Oh,
amazing
love me a good
sandwich,
Cuban
and
sandwich.
sure, absolutely, and with the chips, the house-made.
Okay.
Chips. Great food, and we have paella. Paella is wonderful, and absolutely, we have lamb chops and things like that.
That's right. The last time we
Amazing.
went, my friend had the lamb, and gosh, you've got some great seafood dishes, and then for those that like the turf, you've got my buddy Amir had the ribeye when we went.
Yes.
Oh, he just
That's a great
loved the
steak.
ribeye. You've got pork ribs, chicken breast, like you mentioned, the lamb chops. The ladies
Yes.
split the lobster roll when we went.
Yes.
And then, yeah, gosh, just like I said, some of the best, absolutely the best appetizers in town. So I mentioned a couple of times I've been here with friends, and I love going up on the rooftop. So there was,
Yes.
I think the first time I went, I actually had dinner. We had dinner downstairs.
Okay.
And then, as the evening kind of went on a little bit, things cleared out, and then we migrated up to the rooftop
Right.
and into the tasting room. It was a little bit cooler that night, so
Right.
what I love is you can still stay indoors. Like
Yes.
you said, if it's windy, if it's a little bit cold, you can still be on the rooftop indoors. It's fully wrapped in glass, and you
Yes.
still appreciate the
Yes.
views. But yeah, this last time we went, we sat on the rooftop, and one, friends were really impressed. I said as we watched the sun go down. And then two, what an amazing experience. Watching the sunset, enjoying a bottle of wine, just taking our time. We ordered a charcuterie board to split and
Yes.
just kind of relaxed and perused the menu and got excited about all different kinds of stuff. It did start to get a little chilly after the sun went down. And our server was he was Johnny on the spot. Wheeled over the space heater there,
Yes.
warmed everybody up, and gosh, wasn't great for turnover. We lingered for a couple of hours and just
Right.
had a great experience. And I had to, I had the lobster pappardelle.
Yeah, that's an amazing.
Oh man, and I know what the listeners are thinking, right? Rich radio guy and his bougie lobster dinner. But I say nay. The pappardelle is one of the tastiest meals I've had in a long time, but extremely reasonably priced. Everything on your menu is very reasonably priced. It's not gonna kill somebody to have a nice world-class dinner here at Ray's Winery on Main. Like I'm on a teacher's salary and enjoy it as frequently as I can. So I'll get to a question here real quick, Robert. I'm just kind of a big dumb guy who just drinks what he likes, and so I think we were enjoying. It was a red blend. I think it was Juan's special red blend. Juan's red.
Could have been.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so I was enjoying that with the lobster. But what would you pair with that lobster pappardelle if you were pairing a wine perfectly?
I would probably pair that with a Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
Or a Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
Which we have.
So more the whiter, yeah.
The white.
We started with the reds with the
Yeah,
the
but
combo board and-
I personally am a red wine drinker, so
Mm-hmm.
I would personally go with a blend such as our Le Dubois, which you will probably
Yeah.
get to enjoy one of these
Appreciate
days.
that, yeah.
Yes, so because I'm a red drinker, I would go to a lighter wine like our Le Dubois blend or a Pinot Noir. So that works for me, and sure. There are no set rules. It is what you like, right?
And I
because
appreciate
there
that,
is a
yeah.
lot of misconception about that. Sure, you want to pair your wines with the texture of the food, and so you don't want to overcome the other. So you want the texture of the food and the texture of the wine to be compatible. You don't want
To get the most out of both.
Absolutely, and so you don't want to get a big bold wine with your lobster, right?
Sure.
So you go to a lighter
I see.
wine if you're in the reds, or a white.
Okay, and that's what I love about the experience, whether it's at your winery in Agua Dulce or here at the restaurant. Folks can get intimidated sometimes around wines, but
Right.
you guys are really low key about it. Hey, drink what you enjoy.
That's right.
Do what you like, and it's the same feel here in the restaurant. World class restaurant, but very comfortable, and folks can just come in, sit down, relax, and enjoy an amazing experience. Now, speaking of your wines, you talked about these aren't just a basic wine here. You guys serve world-class wines. You've won tons of awards. Tell us about the awards you've won.
At the last count, I think we had 268 medals from different competitions, in the range of medals, anywhere from double gold to bronze. But yes, we have several of those double gold medals, especially on our Cabernet and our Syrah. And so, lots of other gold medals, and we've been very proud of bringing these ultra premium wines, produced right here in our vineyard in Agua Dulce.
Produced right here and very reasonably priced. I love this idea of a double gold. Can you explain to our listeners what a double gold is? Because that's something special.
Yes, and when you have judges judging wines blindly, if all the judges agree that it's a gold medal, if they all agree that it's gold, then it becomes a double gold.
Yeah. So it's like that
decision.
Exactly. It's that unanimous decision that everybody. Yeah, this is top notch wine. So some fantastic wines, and like I said, your menu can't be beat. You've got an amazing restaurant going on over there. One more time, like I said, I'm sure your mouth is watering just like mine is. Make sure you make reservations. I would suggest, if you're thinking about it for this weekend, you either jump online, go to ReyesWineryOnMain.com, or give them a call. What time do y'all open before so people can call?
There is someone there from 9 a.m. on.
So in just a few
call.
minutes, folks can start calling. And again, it's 661-621-7777, 621-7777, or just go online, ReyesWineryOnMain.com. Reyes Winery on Main it's all the rage. It seems like every time I'm on Facebook, someone else is posting about how great it is, including our Congressman Mike Garcia fell in love with it the first time he was there. Like I said, my friends Amir and Daniela loved it. My Aflac guy, Denny, and his beautiful girlfriend, Gris, and gosh, tons of folks. It seems like every time I'm scrolling through my feed, somebody else is out enjoying usually the rooftop, right? Because that's where you want to take your pictures, on the rooftop. So, Mr. Reyes, I just want to thank you for coming in this morning, and thank you for providing such an amazing spot to enjoy ourselves.
It's such a pleasure to be here and sharing this time with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, Mr. Reyes. It's always great to talk to you. You have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
And you too. Thank you.
I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We will be right back on your hometown station, KHTS.
With locations throughout the valley, Providence offers the most advanced technology and therapies for treating cancer in Southern California. Call 1-888-HEALING for your annual checkup or second opinion. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Experience Frontier Toyota's all-new hot and exciting Toyota lineup. Serving the Santa Clarita Valley for over 30 years. Frontier Toyota, the Camry, Corolla, and Prius Kings. They're tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Frontier Toyota, the new way of car buying. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom at Valencia and Creekside. Discover a whole new car buying experience with your friends at Frontier Toyota.
Okay, Shelby, care to share with the class what you did this weekend?
My weekend started in the African desert, where I was surrounded by wild animals, like fennec foxes. After that, I climbed towering trees in the rainforest and played next to an animal called a prehensile-tailed porcupine.
Okay. Who's next? Ryan?
I went to the mall.
Visit the new Wildlife Explorers Base Camp at the San Diego Zoo and feel what it's like to be wild.
Santa Clarita has a new singing sensation, Terrell Edwards. Terrell Edwards opening at Santa Clarita's Canyon Club for the Super 70s group Ambrosia.
That's how much I feel for you, baby.
Ambrosia and Terrell Edwards at the Canyon Club Santa Clarita, Saturday, June 18th. Ambrosia and Terrell Edwards. Reserve your tickets now at hometownstation.com/Ambrosia.
Helping lead the way to a greener future, all of Burtech's Santa Clarita Valley waste collection trucks run on clean burning natural gas. Burtech takes pride in their community, and they've been serving the SCV for nearly 2 decades. Because at Burtech, we'll take care of it.
Dr. Neil Green has been treating Santa Clarita patients and making them smile for over 35 years. As a child, Dr. Green had a fear of the dentist and disliked even simple checkups. Today, he's sensitive to your needs. If you have anxiety about getting a checkup, he understands your apprehension even if you've avoided the dentist for years. Discover the comfort of visiting a dentist with Dr. Neil Green. Dentistry is his profession. People are his focus. NeilGreenDDS.com. That's Neil, Neal Green, DDS.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am joined now by Dr. Claudia Acosta, president of the Santa Clarita Sister Cities program. In her day job, she is a tenured professor and chair of the Department of Modern Languages and Cultures at College of the Canyons. And Mike Franke, event logistics coordinator for the city of Santa Clarita, who is a graduate of College of the Canyons, as well as both of my alma maters, before and after that. I'm talking about Saugus High School and Cal State Northridge. The two of them are throwing a party tonight, and you are invited. Claudia, Mike, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Hi, Matt. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you guys. So let's go ahead and start here. Before we talk about this party y'all are throwing tonight, let's talk about the Sister Cities program, because this is something that Claudia, you're doing in conjunction with the city, but it's intended to highlight our Sister Cities program here in Santa Clarita. So what is Sister Cities?
Well, thank you, Matt. Well, the Santa Clarita Sister Cities program is a proud member of Sister Cities International. So this is at the United States level that was founded by President Dwight Eisenhower in 1957. So we're a nonprofit citizen diplomacy network, just like that. And it was founded by Carl Boyer, our former mayor. And so what we do here is basically we increase global cooperation at all the levels to promote cultural understanding and to stimulate economic development. So we have two great international sister cities, Tena in Ecuador and Sariaya in the Philippines. The first one, Tena, is a sister city. It was founded in 2001, and Sariaya came later in 2003.
Okay.
So we are delighted that tonight we are going to be celebrating these two sister cities along with other programs, our sister friends out in the world. For example, Matsudo, which is Matsudo, Japan. We have a sister friendship relationship, if that makes any sense. It's a friendship relationship.
Okay, so not quite officially a sister city, but we're kind of hanging out, getting to know each other, and getting along great.
Exactly. And Santa Clarita Sister City has many programs out in the world in friendship relationships in India, in Nicaragua, and in many other places in the world. But tonight, we'll be celebrating 3 countries. And that would be Ecuador for our sister city in Tena, the Philippines for our sister city in Sariaya, and Matsudo, Japan. We're really excited. We can't wait for this event. And again, recently this week, we also were part of the naming of a room at City Hall honoring our former mayor, Carl Boyer, who is responsible for all of this. I need to mention that.
Absolutely. Carl was quite a visionary. And gosh, Claudia, do you know how long ago he decided to start up the Sister Cities of Santa Clarita program?
Yes, I believe in 1992. Wow. Our first Sister City was in 2001. I was recruited by him in 2002, so I've been in the sister cities and the Santa Clarita Sister Cities and Santa Clarita Valley International programs for over 20 years. So no, as you mentioned, he was a visionary. He always saw he loved traveling, but he loved traveling and doing something and bringing something back to Santa Clarita, and that's what he wanted. He wanted to connect local to global, and foster international partnerships, cultural, educational, and to promote goodwill. He always, when he traveled, he wanted help. That's how I got recruited then, 20 years ago. My goodness.
Well, and I love the forward thinking, because to go back 30 years now to 1992 to envision, gosh, if you think we're a small town now, we're the third largest city in Los Angeles, but in 1992 we were significantly smaller. But to have that vision to say, Santa Clarita, our economy and our culture needs to start making these global connections, and to found this program truly was visionary. And you mentioned, Claudia, that tonight we're celebrating this event to honor our sister cities and our friendship city and our sister cities program in particular. Mike, can you tell us about the event that's going on tonight? I think it's called Celebrate. Would you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, so celebrating this event, it's actually a new event series that the city of Santa Clarita is putting on. This is actually our only second event of the year. So each month, each first Friday of the month from April to September, we're going to be celebrating a different culture. This is kind of a way of expanding the knowledge of other countries and cultures throughout the world for people that, may have never even left Santa Clarita. So last year we did the Polynesian Islands. And then this year, yes, we're going to be doing the sister cities. Upcoming, we also have India, Greece, the Caribbean, and Mexico. So you can find those all on our website at the Celebrate event at the City of Santa Clarita website page. But yeah, we're very excited to be partnering with the Sister Cities event for tonight as well.
So that's really cool. So this series, you said you do it first Friday night of the month, which is tonight, and you highlight a different culture each month, which is really cool. Great opportunity to get your kids involved in the different cultures around the world, or a great way to go hang out with somebody. But tonight, we're not highlighting one. We're highlighting our two sister cities, and then that third city, our friendship city of Matsudo. So, Mike, can you tell us, folks are starting to make plans for the weekend now, which include Friday night. Where's it at? What time? What's going on?
Yeah, we would love to have as many people come out. It's an event for all ages. It is at the new Canyon Country Community Center behind the Toppers Pizza parking lot right there. You can't miss it, off Sierra Highway and Soledad right there. It's going on from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and we're going to have lots of great music, activities, performers. We will be having Vento Sur. They're an Ecuadorian band that, they're going to be displaying lots of music from that kind of culture as well. Oh, yeah. We're going to be having Kazuyo Matsumoto. She's going to be a Japanese musician. And then we have Malaya Filipino American Dance Arts, and they're going to be doing some amazing Filipino dancing and displaying. And actually, a part of the evening, there will be audience participation to get involved with that as well. Nice. Yes, and then throughout the event as well, we're going to be trying to highlight as much possible. So we will be having food as well. There's going to be multiple food. Kazuya Sushi, they're going to be a food truck that's a Japanese food truck. We have White Rabbit truck that's a Filipino fusion food truck. We also have Calajo Filipino food that's going to be doing some free food sampling that will be coming out as well.
Right.
So that's the food portion of it. But we will, like I mentioned, we'll also be having activities. In terms of Japan, we're going to be having a taiko drums demonstration where people can kind of view and actually get involved with taiko drums. It's a Japanese type of drums. We'll be doing origami. And for the Philippines, we will be doing a jeepney craft. Phil Ann will be coming out with an Agawan display, and Sister Cities is going to be doing a parole-making activity. And we will actually rent it out a real live jeepney. And a jeepney is actually a Jeep that's very custom to the Philippines as well, so people will be able to actually come over, sit in the vehicle, and actually take pictures in it as well. And then lastly, for Ecuador, we have a lot going on for them. We will have Her Coffee coming out and doing Ecuadorian coffee sampling as well. We will be doing Ecuadorian instruments that people can watch. And we're going to be doing a jungle experience because the Amazon is very, for many people that know, is familiar to Ecuador as well. So we're creating a real-life jungle walk experience. It's going to be really cool to walk through. And then lastly, we will be having a beer garden that will be sampling different types of Ecuadorian and Filipino beers, obviously for people over 21 years and older. So we really have a little bit for everyone and everything. So all ages are welcome to come. And I think anyone could find something they can enjoy there at any level.
Mike, that's amazing. So we're highlighting these three cities and their cultures with music, entertainment, crafts. We've got food representing all three of these cultures, drink, and then all kinds of fun activities. I love the Amazon experience that you guys are putting together. I might rub my Peruvian friends the wrong way a little bit, but Ecuador es un país amazónica. We are an Amazonian country, and so that's going to be a fun experience. You got the jeepney from the Philippines. That is going to be a ton of fun. And then you mentioned the beer garden, sampling some of the beers from these different cultures. That is absolutely phenomenal.
I know, we're excited to have it. We really, and that's the point of this event. If someone can't make it tonight, we try and really touch base to every part of the culture. We want to be able to hear that culture, to see that culture, to be able to taste that culture, or even experience it, hands-on activities. And that's the goal of this event, is to have every aspect of that culture be really shown and taught to the community as well.
And it's going to be a perfect evening for it. It's going to be a little warm this afternoon, but things are going to start to cool off right about the time we're starting the event. It's going to be open air. I was just at the Canyon Country Community Center last week honoring our teachers from around the city, and it's just a gorgeous facility. So great place to go hang out with your friends, hang out with the family. You can bring the littles, and they'll be plenty busy. They're not going to be bugging you to want to go home anytime soon. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah, and if you want to make a night of it, you can bring a blanket and some chairs and just pitch a little area up to watch the event throughout the whole evening. You're more than welcome to bring those kind of supplies as well.
Absolutely. It's going to be an amazing event. I will be out there too. I'm supposed to MC, but Mike, you're going to drag me away to the beer garden once in a while, right?
There's going to be so much going on, like you mentioned, that I can't imagine anyone's going to be stuck in one spot, because there's going to be so much to do and drink and eat there. You could spend all night there easily walking around.
And I will. Thank you both for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. I am Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
No doubt about it, LA is an awesome place to live. But even while living in the land of beaches and mountains, it's safe to say that we could all use a real vacation right about now. One where you don't have to stop for gas, cook your own meals, or strip your own sheets. Lucky for us, Princess Cruises has a port right here in LA. Now, for a limited time, LA residents can sail with Princess from just $89 per day to the beaches of Mexico, the tropics of Hawaii, or cruise along the California coast without getting stuck in traffic. That's right, just $89 per day. And while these great destinations aren't going anywhere, these deals won't be around forever. So visit princess.com, call 1-800-PRINCESS, or contact your travel advisor to book your cruise today. Set sail with LA's cruise line, Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Promotional pricing ends November 30th, 2021. Ships are Bermudan and British registry. Before booking, consult the CDC website at www.cdc.gov.
Stone Oven, the healthy alternative. You've never tasted a sandwich like this before. Gourmet bread cooked before your eyes. Stone Oven at the food court at Valencia Town Center.
Save at the best Santa Clarita restaurants. Restaurant Row, where everything is half price. Click on hometownstation.com and discover incredible savings. Online or at our radio station, everyone saves with Restaurant Row. Check it out at hometownstation.com. Restaurant Row, where everything is half price.
The ugly truth about vertigo, and it's not a tumor. Discover the 3 most common mistakes that must change to stop vertigo for good. Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Pilecki, and WebMD chooses me as best chiropractor and functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpilecki.com. That's drpolucki.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Right now, as you're listening to this, the last thing on your mind is needing a plumber.
Whitaker Plumbing understands.
That's why we want you to store this in the for later use file in your brain.
Whitaker Plumbing will handle all emergencies.
Your toilet won't stop running?
Call Whitaker.
Your sink is dripping?
Call Whitaker.
Your garbage disposal sounds funky?
Whitaker will handle it.
Upgrading your water heater? All your plumbing services with one call.
Whitaker Plumbing. Whitaker with 1T Plumbing, SCV.com.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
A race against death in Ukraine. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. An international effort continues to rescue more civilians from the besieged city of Mariupol and a steel plant where Ukrainian fighters continue to fend off Russian attacks. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Mariupol will never fall to Russia, adding there's nothing left to fall in the devastated city as Russia keeps bombing other parts of the country as well.
We can see no end of it yet. And we cannot feel any willingness of the Russian side to end it.
In a remote speech to a British group today, Zelensky also says he's certain Ukraine will defend its independence and is already working on a reconstruction plan. First Lady Jill Biden just arriving in Romania, planning to visit U.S. troops in the region and to spend Mother's Day with Ukrainian refugees. President Biden claiming credit for record-setting job growth in his first 15 months in office, with more added in April.
428,000 jobs were created in the month of April. This is the 12th consecutive month above 400,000.
Fox Business's Edward Lawrence, though the president also says he knows inflation is a challenge for families across the country. Republicans say his policies are fueling that. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis making his own move to address inflation.
I'm going to sign into law HB 7071. This is actually the largest tax relief in the history of the state of Florida, $1.2 billion tax relief package.
It creates tax holidays for critical needs, including gas, diapers, and disaster supplies. Several residents are suing the governor over concerns that a feud with Disney will leave taxpayers on the hook for local costs the company has been covering for decades. DeSantis has pledged to prevent that. On Wall Street, an extended sell-off. Right now, the Dow's down 280 points. America is listening to Fox News.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
New steps on Capitol Hill to help retain congressional staffers.
The House will vote next week on a resolution recognizing congressional workers' right to unionize. It would pave the way for new collective bargaining rights for the employees staffing House offices. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is also setting a minimum salary for staff members of $45,000. That will take effect in September. In a letter to colleagues, Pelosi says a competitive minimum salary will help lawmakers recruit and retain diverse talent and open a door to public service for many who may not have been able to afford it. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A manhunt continues in Israel for 2 Palestinian suspects after a mass stabbing near Tel Aviv yesterday that left 3 Israelis dead on Israel's Independence Day, the latest in a series of deadly assaults in recent weeks. An ancient Roman bust looted in World War II turns up in Texas as a bargain.
A woman in Austin reportedly purchased a 2,000-year-old Roman bust at a Goodwill store for just $35 in 2018. So how did it get there? Well, the woman who bought it did some research and found the depiction of Roman commander Drusus the Elder once stood at a museum in Aschaffenburg, Germany. During World War II, Allied bombers targeted the city, damaged the museum, and the 19-inch bust disappeared. It's theorized that the soldier returning from war took the sculpture to Texas, where it eventually landed at the Goodwill store. Now, Drusus will return to his historical podium and will be on display at the San Antonio Museum of Art until it returns to Germany in 2023. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News.
Recapping Wall Street after this week's wild ride the past couple of days, the Dow's down about 200 points. It had turned higher earlier. The NASDAQ also lower. Oil prices topping $111 a barrel. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Another sell-off on Wall Street, though the latest numbers indicate a mixed employment situation for April. The unemployment rate remained the same at 3.6%. The number of jobs created last month top forecasts at 428,000. Average hourly earnings cooled up 0.3%, lower than forecast, but the labor force participation rate was 62.2%, still below pre-pandemic levels. Zillow Group, the real estate website, is offering a disappointing forecast. It's predicting uncertainty facing the real estate sector, and Zillow shares are lower. Eye care company Bausch & Lomb is launching its stock today on the New York Stock Exchange and Toronto Stock Exchange. The company was separated from its parent, Bausch Health. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Economists are warning that sanctions against Russia could trigger devastating inflation, worse than the current 40-year highs. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings right now with a gold IRA through Birch Gold, the only company I trust for gold. Just text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on how to protect your savings with gold. Again, text SHELTER to 989898.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need, and when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what's best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or visit resurgenceit.com.
Right now, as you're listening to this, the last thing on your mind is needing a plumber.
Whitaker Plumbing understands.
That's why we want you to store this in the for later use file in your brain.
Whitaker Plumbing will handle all emergencies.
Your toilet won't stop running?
Call Whitaker.
Your sink is dripping?
Call Whitaker.
Your garbage disposal sounds funky?
Whitaker will handle it.
Upgrading your water heater? All your plumbing services with one call.
Whitaker Plumbing. Whitaker with 1T Plumbing, SCV.com.
Your hometown station.
Life takes us in different directions sometimes, and we may not always have computer access for breaking news. KHTS has a solution. Text alerts. Breaking news you need to know about fast. Freeway closed? We'll text you directly. Emergency police activity in the Santa Clarita Valley? We'll text you. Sign up now for text alerts at hometownstation.com. KHTS has your back.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
All right, welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. And my next guest is, she is a member of the iLead Maker Team. Now, the iLead Maker Team, y'all know that we're sponsored by iLead Schools. The iLead Maker Team is a group of curriculum specialists that coach, train, and otherwise support the teaching staff at SCVI and all of our iLead schools. Well, Nicole Huguenin is joining us from the Maker Team. She's a graduate of Sandpoint High School. She's a Sandpoint Bulldog. As a matter of fact, Nicole loved being a Bulldog so much that she doubled down and became a Gonzaga Bulldog, receiving her Bachelor's of Education, specializing in teaching and special education. She later received her master's degree from Lesley University in integrating the arts into the curriculum. She worked over 25 years with the Ponderay School District in her hometown, where she created an innovative and dynamic multi-age program. She then joined the iLead team in 2019 as our Director of Arts, Integration, and Play. How's that for a title? Nicole, welcome back to Eye on the Valley.
Thanks, Matt. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for asking me to join you today.
Of course. So we're talking about play this morning and the importance of play. And Nicole, you know me. I love to play around. But before we get into that, before we get started, tell me a little bit about your career before you joined us at iLead, because I actually had the opportunity to visit you, and you were doing something really special up there in Idaho.
Well, I had the extreme pleasure of getting to be in the classroom for 20 years. And the last 5 years of my career, I got to create a program called the Experiential Learning Program. And it was in a public school, but it was a multi-age 1st through 6th grade program with project-based learning and play-based learning and arts integration. And it was so much fun to create. It was a lot of work, by the way, but it was such a great opportunity. So you got to visit, we called it the ELP, Experiential Learning Program. And what I loved about it is how self-directed the children were. Like, they got to choose activities, they got to manage their time. And for those of you that find it important, our test scores were off the charts. So it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, they were. Your kids were learning just in leaps and bounds, but you also developed a beautiful culture there. And for my teacher friends that are listening, I want you to say it again, Nicole. You had a multi-age experience. No, this isn't a split class, because split implies 2 grades. You taught what grades?
1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
All at the same time.
I had a teaching partner that took the 4th through 6th graders for their academic instruction, and I had the 1st through 3rd graders. And what we did is we had appointment opportunities for kids, so they got their reading, math, writing at their instructional level in a small group. So whole group, we would do science experiences and things like, and our crew, which was our morning meeting or advisory, we did that with all 53 of our kiddos.
Wow.
And it was amazing. It was such a great experience. And people thought I was a little crazy to take that on, but what was really amazing was the culture and community that was created, Matt, that you were talking about, where we had older kids that would mentor the younger kids. The younger kids brought that wonder and joy. So we didn't have a lot of that. We did have a little bit of the cool factor going on with the upper grade levels, but they really saw themselves as mentors. So there was always someone to ask for help or to share a joy moment in learning, or they'd always come up to me and ask me a question, Miss Nicole, can you? And I'd say, use your resources. And they would go ask another learner. They'd use Google. They would try to solve it on their own, because I believe that's what our kiddos need, is the ability to use their resources and solve problems on their own. So
I love that. And when I was up there, it seemed like you were just having this huge family gathering with 53 cousins, and everybody was just working together and helping each other out. They loved each other. It was amazing. But let's get into your job now with our schools. So I mentioned in your intro that you're the director of arts integration and play. And man, I thought I had the coolest job in the world. So what is your role as the director of arts integration and play involve?
I have the pleasure of traveling to our sites all over the United States and supporting directors and facilitators, that's what we call our principals and our teachers, in arts integration and play-based learning, and also a lot of other academic areas and community building things. So I've also been able to join Angie Nastaska and Lisa Latimer in the Play Institute, the I Lead Play Institute, Playmakers Institute. I'm sorry, I said it incorrectly. And that's been a joy to bring in people from all over to get training in play-based learning. What else? It's so much fun. I can't quite wrap my brain about all.
Well, it is a ton of fun. You talked about how you bring in experts to train our educators on play-based learning, and you're a huge advocate of play, not just on the weekends or in the evenings, but during school as well. Nicole, why is play so important?
Play has many nuances. When I first thought about play or thought about this interview, it could be perceived as frivolous, like, that's something kids do, like you said, after school or on the weekend. But what kids are wired to do, hardwired, is to play, to experiment with their environment, to interact with it, to explore it. And the importance of play is kids, that's their natural learning modality. So it's kind of ironic that in education we try to cut that out and drill and kill our children, with worksheets and memorizing things. And I know there's a place for that, but play is a natural provocation or invitation to learning. So I think that's one of the reasons it's so important.
Well, and you mentioned that kids are hardwired to play. I think all of us are, because I play around on the radio a little bit here, and then we also have serious interviews. But it was funny. I was talking to Patty when he came into the studio this morning, and the first thing we connected on was the goofy little playing around throwaway line that I dropped at his expense, of course, on last week's show. But it's something we connect with. It releases those endorphins, and it makes it more memorable. So that is an important part of learning, isn't it?
Yeah, and it appeals to their children's natural curiosity and their desire to engage in experiences based on their interests. So it helps them make sense of the world around them. So, and I love to play, obviously. I have marble runs at my house, and it's not for the kids. It's for me to build and experiment. And, I play with the arts, with painting, and and my kids and I love to play Settlers of Catan. Like, games are such a great way to teach and learn from learning strategy or planning, and also learning how to lose with grace and win with grace. Like, play is so valuable on so many levels. And you're right. There's no age limit to play.
Yeah. And gosh, it's funny. Oftentimes, we recognize the importance of sports, right? And when we talk about sports, we play tennis, we play baseball. But for some reason, when we think of just play itself, We have this notion that, we get into school, it's time to get serious, it's time to get to work because we want to be industrious, we want to be productive. But I read something recently. In 2018, the American Academy of Pediatrics published an article recommending that pediatricians actually prescribe play, that they give parents a prescription for their children to play.
Oh, wow.
Why do you think it's important that doctors would prescribe play?
That's both sad and I absolutely love it that society has come to that. But I think that maybe why they are prescribing it is because I think with this testing culture that we have in our nation, it puts a lot of pressure on parents to kind of drill their kids with academics. And it's fascinating to me, at least in my experience in my classroom, where play was a huge part of our learning in the classroom, our kids' learning. Their academic success grew by leaps and bounds. And I think pediatricians are prescribing play to parents because, I don't know, maybe there hasn't been a lot of modeling of how play works in the home. For example, I have a friend who had a 12-month-old little girl, and she says, "Why won't River play by herself while I'm writing my paper?" And I said, well, developmentally, she can't really do that yet, but you can encourage her by setting up some play provocations in your home. And she had never heard of that. So I said, okay, I'm coming out to your house while River's taking a nap, and we're going to set up some play provocations. So I went out there, and we took some empty paper towel tubes and some painter's tape and some little puff balls, and I taped the tubes to the wall and then put the puff balls next to it. And then we built a tower of Duplo blocks, those little giant Legos.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put out a baby doll with a blanket in the vicinity of it. And then we set up she had one of those tubes that you can crawl through, and we put a stuffed animal in it. So when her baby River woke up, she toddles out into the living room, and she looks around, and she immediately goes over to the puff balls and starts dropping them in the tubes. Now, we didn't have to teach her how to do that. It was just a provocation or an invitation to play. And her mom, Megan, was like, oh, my gosh, like she's entertaining herself. And then she went to the tower of Duplo blocks and tipped them over and then crawled in the tube and got the baby. And so she got the idea that you can set up these invitations to play. And maybe that's what the pediatricians were hoping for, is for kids to be engaged in that learning and that play. So
that's an interesting
idea. I could go on and on, Matt.
No, it's an interesting idea. I remember when I was a kid, and my parents used to just tell me, go outside and play. I'm like,
yes.
What does that mean? Go outside and play. I mean, okay, there's no other kids out there, so I can't play, right? And so sometimes even the older kids, we need a little bit of that structure, or like you said, provocations. Just throw something out in the living room, and kids will figure it out. Nicole, you mentioned in your classroom that you played a lot, but a lot of learning took place through that play. Can you explain that? What learning takes place through play? Because I've got to tell you, as kind of somebody who came from more of a traditional side of education, play seems like what you do when you're not learning.
Okay, so that's an excellent question. And learning through play is, like I said, it's a much easier modality for children because they want to do it. So the learning that happens when children are playing, there are so many elements of learning. I think a really important one is the social skills that kids learn when they're playing. So maybe they're playing school. They have to talk to each other and decide who gets to be the teacher, who's the student, who's the class pet, who's the, and they use their imaginations, but they're using negotiating skills, communication. Kids are advocating. You always know the one that will become the teacher. They're the one that's in charge of everybody. And then they do problem solving. Like, okay, what are we going to do now with that? Are we going to do a paper pencil activity? Are we going to play school and do math? Or, there's lots of social skills. Now, other kinds of play, for example, with blocks, wooden blocks. My mom always had wooden blocks for us. I have 5 siblings, and we had a lot of energy. So she had things for us to keep us occupied. And wooden blocks. So imagine a child gets to, in play-based learning, the children get to choose the activity, and it's not a free-for-all. It's not chaos. It's not wild. they just have different provocations around the room. And let's say they go over and they're playing with blocks and they start stacking the blocks. And the teacher or the facilitator can come up and say, okay, how many blocks do you have there? And the child can count them, or they can say, oh, that's really tall. Can you find a taller tower or a shorter tower of blocks, or can you build one? And so all that academic language can be brought in through blocks. And then you can teach them, oh, this is a cube if it's a cube-shaped block. Or there's so many ways. Vocabulary can be learned through play. And gosh, I'm getting really excited about this because it's so much easier than teaching in another way. So
it's almost like that spark that ignites the engine in your car, right? You get things moving, and then you can steer it wherever you want to by challenging them, asking them probing questions, and things like that. And as long as they are playing, gosh, you can kind of take them anywhere you want to, huh?
Yeah, and they take themselves, like they use their imagination to take themselves like into another place. I had this, I don't know if you've heard of Kane's Arcade, but it was a little boy in LA who built a cardboard arcade in his dad's auto parts shop. And I showed the video to my first graders. So we built our own cardboard arcade. And this little boy, first grader, he was a little tiny cutie patootie. He asked me to cut all the flaps off the box. And so I did, because I had the box cutter. And although I have let first graders use scissors to cut boxes. And anyway, and then he goes outside and he paints the whole thing yellow. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, I had no idea. And I didn't give him directions. They got to build whatever they wanted to build for their cardboard arcade. And then it dries, and he opens it up, and he climbs inside of it, and another kid climbs inside of it with him, and they ran around in circles, and it was a school bus ride. And this box became a school bus, and it was the most popular arcade game at the science night that we did. And if I would have said, no, what are you doing? What's your plan? I would have squelched his imagination. And since he got to figure it out, execute it, it uses imagination, he's learning all sorts of skills that 21st century learners need to know, and that Fortune 500 companies want to hire. They want to hire people who can collaborate, problem solve, work with other people in a really healthy way. So play is just so much fun.
Absolutely. You mentioned that short film, Kane's Arcade, and that can be really helpful to parents, because I know, gosh, Nicole, you're so creative, and you talk about the different things that you set up at your friend's house for her toddler to play. But, not all of us are that creative and can think of all these different things. And so some parents are kind of thinking to themselves, well, what can I do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Check out that film, Kane's Arcade. It's spelled CAINE'. It's about this little boy that was dragged to work every weekend with his dad because that was the only option they had. And he was bored to tears until one day he got an idea, and it turned into this beautiful thing that really got this grassroots support. Well, now it's an international sensation. Check out Kane's Arcade. Nicole, I want to talk about some of the other things that you're doing with kids, and I also want to give parents some ideas when we get back from the break. Before we do that, though, we're not just talking about parents of littles, are we? What ages kids should be playing?
Oh, all ages, every age.
Yes.
There's a new thing, gamifying education, and it's creating like games in the classroom for learning, or learning through video games, which I know a lot of parents are anti-video games, but kids are highly motivated to be in video games. So it's also a great invitation to learn through play. So I think any age, my 25-year-old son and my 23-year-old daughter will still play. My son set up a whole ecosystem in a kiddie pool last summer. It was like, the pool was for my little niece, but my 25-year-old son had so much fun catching things and putting it in the pool. And so I don't think play has an expiration date.
Well, in a few more minutes, my brother's going to be swinging by, and he and I are both in our 50s, and we're going to play around with producer Sarah and engineer Patty. Nicole Huguenin is the Director of Arts Integration and Play for iLead Schools, but it's not just fun and games. When we get back, Nicole's going to explain how play for kids of all ages actually leads to rigor and high levels of academic achievement. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
SCVI is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only International Baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVI. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Okay, Shelby, care to share with the class what you did this weekend?
My weekend started in the African desert, where I was surrounded by wild animals, like fennec foxes. After that, I climbed towering trees in the rainforest and played next to an animal called a prehensile-tailed porcupine.
Okay. Who's next? Ryan?
I went to the mall.
Visit the new Wildlife Explorers Base Camp at the San Diego Zoo and feel what it's like to be wild.
Playing now at the Canyon Theater Guild are two literary classics that you won't want to miss. Little Women the Musical will delight you with show-stopping music and ballads fitting this timeless story of family and perseverance. Also, The Lilies of the Field, dedicated to the late Sidney Poitier, who earned his first Oscar portraying the lead role in this delightful and heartwarming story. Both shows run through April 16th, so get your tickets now by calling the box office at 661-799-2702 or online at canyontheater.org.
Coming to the Canyon, Mark Farner's American Band, Dave Mason, George Lynch, Jack Russell's Great White, Spyro Gyro, Oingo Boingo former members, Stephen Piercy of Rat, Bullet Boys, Asia featuring John Payne, LA Guns, Marsha Ball, Young Dubliners, Australia's Thunder from Down Under, and so much more. Country nights every Thursday, and the Canyon is the perfect place to host special events. Call 805-657-9201 to book yours today. The Canyon, Santa Clarita, where music meets the soul. Tickets available through Axis.com. Homeowners, if your rising electric bill is burning a hole in your bank account, it's now possible to qualify for significantly lower electric bills by making the switch to renewable energy at no cost. By taking advantage of all of the existing incentives for making your home green, you can switch to solar with zero down, nothing out of pocket, and no hidden fees. Let Solar Energy Partners use their expertise to help you save tens of thousands of dollars by visiting solarenergypartners.com.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. My guest this morning is the Director of Arts Integration and Play with iLead Schools, Nicole Huguenin. Nicole, we were talking before the break about the importance of play. Yes, for toddlers, for babies, for littles, but also for bigger kids and how important it is in their development. But it's not just fun and games, right? You're a curriculum specialist and you bring academic rigor to our schools. As the director of arts integration and play, you work with our staff on what's called play-based learning, right? So it's learning. It's not learning-based play. It's play-based learning, the other PBL. So what is play-based learning, Nicole?
Well, it's like I said, there are many nuances of it, but let's give you an example. Unstructured play is when you put children in a room or their house or the park, and they just get to explore and play. That's unstructured play. And play-based learning is where children still get choices in what they interact with. For example, on the play-based outdoor classroom at Agua Dulce, there's an art station set up with plexiglass where the kids can lie down on the ground and paint upside down. There's a stage with costumes. There's a mud kitchen, which I love.
Wait, you're going to have to stop there. There's a mud kitchen? You're cooking mud?
Yeah, mud, or a nature kitchen for those of you that don't like muddy messes. But
So explain what a mud kitchen is, Nicole.
Oh my gosh, it's my favorite thing in the world. It's at Agua Dulce, it's a beautiful system of like child level countertops with bowls in it for water, and then there's mud and sand and grass. And Lisa Latimer, the director there, asks for donations of flower arrangements that have died so the kids can use a mortar and pestle and crush petals and mix them and put them in a soup pot with water and grass and, stir it up with a spoon. And they actually have expired spices they quote unquote cook with. And a mud kitchen is such an opportunity for learning because of the language that happens, the imagination, the problem solving, fine motor skills, it's creative. And aren't those qualities we want in our grown children when they're out in the world?
I got to tell you, you're naming some of the qualities that people look for in CEOs and other executives.
Exactly. And I've installed mud kitchens in a lot of different places. You can go to Goodwill and buy an old coffee table and cut a circle out in the middle and sink a dog bowl into it, and you've got a mud kitchen.
Oh, cool.
Kids just have so much fun with it. So, yeah. And CEOs do want those 21st century skills that can be taught in a outdoor classroom.
Okay, so you talk about the difference between free play, which is, like I said, the go outside and play kind of idea, or hey, let's go to the park or play with your sibling, versus those play provocations. And you're right. Now that you've mentioned Agua Dulce a couple times, we're talking about our campus here. I lead Agua Dulce, just up the road here in Agua Dulce, obviously, Matt. But they've got a lot of these different types of play provocations where kids are working with science, with the arts, with math. But you've just set up different stations. I remember I was there with our state senator not long ago, and they had different colored water receptacles just sitting out. Can you talk about that for a sec?
Well, that was a provocation, a science provocation and art, where kids could take water droplets, and the outdoor classroom facilitator at that time had made clear gelatin molds, like a cake mold, like a bundt cake mold, and different cubes. And the kids could take water droppers, pick up the colored water, and put it into the gelatin molds, and the colors would blend and change. And so then the adults can follow the children's lead, and the kids are like, oh my gosh, red and yellow made a new color. And then the adult would say, wow, that's so great. What do you think happened? And then the kids get to make up their own ideas what happened. And then you can teach them what happened. But for them to be interested because of that experience, like that's a lot better than having them, sit at a table and mix two colors of paints and then have that same result. But the magic of experience that science, in a play experience is so much richer, and they won't forget it.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And they get the notion that they've kind of discovered this on their own. And,
another,
go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Another science thing, we used to do mystery science in our multi-age classroom, and we did a roller coaster experiment where children used a pipe insulator tube that we cut in half vertically. So imagine a long flexible foam tube in half. So there's a channel in the middle of it. And then the kids had marbles and painter's tape, and they learned about Newton's laws of physics through roller coaster science. So the task was they had to put a marble at the end of their foam tube, and they had to only have it move a little bit into a certain area. So they had to adjust the height of their ramp, and it was all trial and error, and we had 53 first through sixth graders working in these projects, and it was amazing what they learned. And then we can wrap the science into it as we walk around and they're talking. And yeah, there are some scuffles when some kid won't share the painter's tape, or someone, the first graders tend to hit the marble before it's time to launch it. And
Sure.
so that's a lot of things kids have to work through that they work through with adults and their colleagues. I mean, think about it. We work with adult humans, and we've got to learn to navigate those things with grace and with empathy and with seeking to understand rather than being right. So, like, learning physics through foam tubes and marbles is amazing. It's such a great opportunity.
Yeah, and those kind of discovery opportunities are so easy to set up. And then you're right. The key is, kids go, wow, look at that amazing thing, or that really cool phenomenon. And then all we have to do is just ask, yeah, why do you think that happened? Or
Exactly.
what's going on there? And then, boy, the kids are motivated, they're excited, and then they just dig deep into the learning. And so
And if we think about academic rigor, that's a highly engaging curriculum where children and kids and middle schoolers and high schoolers have to apply their learning. And so project-based learning is a great example where children are solving real-world problems. We had some kids in my former school district that did a Design for Change challenge. It's an international competition to make positive changes in our world, and they recognized that they needed a crosswalk by their school. So the second grade class got to go to the city council and apply for a crosswalk. They had police come and monitor and take data on the amount of cars, and they actually won the Design for Change. It was a real-world problem that the kids got to solve, and they actually won a trip to Rome. Like, it was so cool, and they got a crosswalk for safety in their school.
How cool is
that? I know, it's so cool. But what I meant to come back to is the academic rigor. We want children and students to be able to take their knowledge and use it, and hopefully making the world a better place.
There's these deep connections and a huge importance in our schools to get our kids playing and then learning through that play. And like I said, once they're excited, once they're sparked, we can steer them anywhere we want to go. But there's a huge connection for parents here too, right? What does this look like kind of from a parenting lens, the free play versus play provocations and opportunities for our kids to learn even from the earliest ages?
Well, like I was saying earlier, play is natural for kids, but a lot of adults maybe don't have, like you said, the ideas of how to set up play in the home or how to encourage it. And I'm the same age as you, Matt, and I had to go outside and play, and I played in the mud, and we made rope swings and built forts and leaf piles, and and parents, I think when they go to the school and they see a classroom without any, like especially early childhood classroom without any toys or, a housekeeping center or arts integration, or they need to run from that place because it's not going to be developmentally appropriate for our kids. And with the pandemic, our kids' anxiety and trauma from it have just skyrocketed. And play can be so soothing. Like, imagine playing with kinetic sand. They call it moon sand. Like, that's just soothing. It lowers kids' heart rate. It's calming. It's a sensory activity. I don't know if you've heard of water beads, but they're amazing. They feel squishy, and you can do so many things with water beads, but they help kids' anxiety level go down. And anyway, so I forgot what the question was. Oh, parents and play. There are some wonderful articles on play-based learning on the Being Makers website. I lead Being Makers. And there's a great article called The Dirt on Dirt, and it talks about the benefits of letting kids play in the dirt. There are actually physical benefits of kids playing in the dirt. So
yeah, it actually helps them stay healthy. It's and have a good time, like you said, lowers their blood pressure and their heart rate. There's all kinds of stuff. And so, gosh, given the past 2 years that we've had, we've all been pretty traumatized and we're struggling. And you mentioned that play can really help with that. And we're not just talking, again, about the littles. We can all benefit from a little play to help us unwind and reduce our blood pressure, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It says that, psychologists are encouraging play as stress relief right now. And it's a healthy way for kids to work through their stressors. So,
well, and it's interesting. The first time I walked into my therapist's office, she had these toys and like these science toys that you would find at Zany Brainy and stuff like that all over her office. And I said, "Gosh, you've got a lot of stuff in here for the kids." And she says, "Yeah, they're not just for the kids." And I did. I kind of sheepishly giggled, but every time ever since then that I've been into her office, boy, I'm grabbing 3 or 4 different toys and I take them over to the chair with me and just play while we're talking. And it plays an integral role in our reflection and our development. It's it is super important. So, gosh, what's if a parent were thinking, what's one thing I could do this weekend to set up a play provocation in my house for my kids? I know it's different for different ages, but is there something that's maybe easy that you can suggest for parents that's not going to cost a ton of money? Because we spend thousands of dollars on toys for our kids, but we don't have to, do we?
I know. One of my favorite toys is just blocks, but you can create blocks out of plastic containers that they can build with and stack with. And for little kids, a bowl of water on the floor with some measuring cups. You have to supervise them, of course, but they can dump and pour and be engaged for a long time with a bowl of water. And if you want to make it really fun, you put a little bit of dish soap in it, and they can splash and make bubbles. And then you can wipe up your floor, and your floor is clean afterwards. So that's a win-win. And playing outside is just huge. Like just letting kids figure it out on their own and say, you can model by using your imagination. Like you're sitting on your patio chair and you pretend like you're about to launch a rocket ship. Kids will take it and run with it. But if you set up, like I saw something really recently on Pinterest where they froze little tiny baby dinosaurs in ice cubes and then put it outside, and the kids got to be archaeologists and unearth the baby dinosaur from the glacier, and the kids were cooled off from the ice, and they learned that ice melts. There's science there, and they got to chisel out some dinosaurs, and they're engaged for a long time, which I know our parents need a break sometimes, so it's nice to have some of these. There's all sorts of ideas on Pinterest.
Yeah,
and I have a bunch on.
You mentioned Pinterest. It's a great resource, and if you're curious, just jump on Google. Google knows everything, and maybe Google easy ways for my kids to play. And then I'm going to challenge parents to set up one of these fun but simple play provocations, and then let your kids play and see if they do what you were expecting. Because oftentimes, right, Nicole, kids don't take it where we expect them to take it. And that's okay.
Oh, my gosh. Matt, one time my little niece, my sister couldn't pick her up from daycare. So I picked up, she was maybe 2.5. And I was having company come to town, and I was racing around madly cleaning my house and vacuuming. And I ran and picked up my little niece, and I brought her to my house. And I'm in the kitchen doing dishes, and I check on her in the living room because she got quiet. When kids get quiet, they're up to something.
Yep.
And she was climbing up on my couch and dragging my decorative cushions off. And I was about to stop her because I thought, I've got company coming. And I thought, I'm just going to watch. And she used perseverance and grit to get up on that couch. It was high for her. And then she grabbed the giant back couch cushion and would drag it off, and then would just be like, her sounds were so cute, Matt. She was like, ugh. Just really working hard, and she lined all these cushions up, and I thought, what in the world is she doing? And I just kept my mouth shut because I thought, she's got a purpose here, and she's engaged, she's safe. So after she was all done, she gets on top of the cushion and starts walking down the trail of cushions, and she goes, hot lava, hot lava. She was playing hot lava. and she wore herself out by dragging the cushions off the couch, and she was using her imagination. She used vocabulary, but it was really cool to see how she dragged the big cushions off. I have a video of it. I'll have to show you sometime, Matt. It's so cute.
You'll have to share with me. And kudos to you, Nicole, for not interrupting, because the temptation can be, even just out of curiosity, to ask, what are you doing? but sometimes kids will interpret that as, oh my gosh, I'm doing something wrong, and they'll stop. So,
right.
so yeah, when your kids are engaged.
I did ask her what she was doing when I was stressed at first. So I'm not a perfect auntie, but then I shut up and watched.
None of us are, but yeah, when our kids are engaged in play like that, just stand back and let them go, and then yeah, as they start to fizzle, maybe poke them, like you said, provoke them in different directions, start asking them what's happening, why they think that's happening, things like that. Nicole, thank you so much for reminding us this morning, and more importantly, thank you for reminding my boss that play is much more than goofing off. It's an essential part of growth and development. So, Dawn, I'll be expecting you to retract that write-up. I'm just growing and developing. I'm not goofing off at work. Nicole, thanks so much. You have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thanks for having me, Matt. You have a great weekend, too.
Thanks. And, hey, happy Mother's Day, Nicole.
Oh, thank you.
This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS.
Playing now at the Canyon Theater Guild are two literary classics that you won't want to miss. Little Women the Musical will delight you with show-stopping music and ballads fitting this timeless story of family and perseverance. Also, The Lilies of the Field, dedicated to the late Sidney Poitier, who earned his first Oscar portraying the lead role in this delightful and heartwarming story. Both shows run through April 16th, so get your tickets now by calling the box office at 661-799-2702 or online at canyontheater.org.
There's a new fine dining restaurant in Santa Clarita, Reyes Winery on Main. Feast in their beautifully designed 3-story building. You'll relax and enjoy the views up on Santa Clarita's only patio rooftop wine bar and dining in the center of Old Town Newhall. Experience Reyes Winery on Main's ultra-premium wines while enjoying fresh-caught seafood, premium steaks, or their signature lobster pappardelle pasta. The new Reyes patio rooftop wine bar and dining is unlike anything else in our valley. Details at reyeswineryonmain.com.
La Esmeralda is home to truly authentic Mexican food. This family-owned restaurant prides itself on its fresh-to-order menu. Even the tortillas are made in-house. If you have a taste for sizzling fajitas, flautas, or menudo, you have to try La Esmeralda's Mexican and Seafood Restaurant. Dine in or order out for the most authentic Mexican food Santa Clarita has to offer. Their Taco Tuesdays, it'll turn you into a regular. La Esmeralda on Bouquet at Haskell.
Helping lead the way to a greener future, all of Burtech's Santa Clarita Valley waste collection trucks run on clean-burning natural gas. Burtech takes pride in their community, and they've been serving the SCV for nearly 2 decades. Because at Burtech, we'll take care of it.
SCVI is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only International Baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVI. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit ileadsantaclarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
It's time to enhance your natural beauty at Hestia Medical Spa. Select from a large menu of services, including an assortment of fillers that can be used in the face, lips, hands, and a variety of other body parts. Get rid of that double chin with Kybella, an injectable treatment to permanently destroy fat cells under the chin. Hestia Medical Spa also offers Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin to help reduce severe frown lines. Experience rejuvenation at Hestia Medical Spa, located on Valencia Boulevard next to City Hall. Call 753-3434 or go online to hestiamedicalspa.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley, and I am your host, Matt Watson. I'm joined now by producer Sarah McDaniels. Sarah, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great, and before I forget, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much.
But, Sarah, This isn't about you, at least for the next 5 minutes. The whole weekend's going to be about you, but right now it's time for Big T's 5 minutes of fame. Y'all know Big T. Big T is a longtime resident and leader in the Santa Clarita Valley. He's an executive and a philanthropist. He's an amazing father, husband, brother, and community leader. He's a man who's been described by some of the most prestigious names in town as nothing more than a hole in the air. Here he is. He's Mom's favorite, Big T. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Maddie. I find it kind of ironic you guys talked about 45 minutes about having fun, but then you hardly give Big T enough time to get loose. You know what I mean?
Trust me, I don't think you're getting cheated, man.
All right. We ready?
We're ready. You know, hands on your buzzers. We're going to call out our name to buzz in, but if you're playing along at home, skip the whole name part and just shout out the answer and see if you can beat us.
Perfect. We'll get straight into the trivia.
All right.
Which Grammy nominated New York rapper died on April in 2021?
Frogger.
Lil
Stank.
Incorrect. Patty, you got it? Sarah?
No. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, the talented DMX.
Oh, that is right.
I remember that.
Oh, X didn't give it to me.
Man, that's Rough Riders rule.
Man. Yep. What software company is headquartered in Redmond, Washington?
Sarah. Microsoft.
That is correct.
Nice.
What's the largest Spanish-speaking city in the world?
Frogger.
Sarah.
Mexico City.
That's correct.
Oh, hey.
What's the world's fastest bird?
Patty.
Sarah.
Frogger.
Patty.
Roadrunner.
Meep, meep.
Oh, my goodness. Stop the show.
Yes. I think Sarah was next, yeah.
I was gonna.
Wow.
It's probably a specific type, but I was gonna pick a falcon.
Yes, it's the peregrine falcon.
All right.
I broke Big T.
All right.
I broke Big T.
I broke Big T. In what country is the Chernobyl nuclear power plant located? Frogger.
Ukraine.
It is in the Ukraine. Good pull. What is a Beaujolais?
Frogger.
It's
the uppity couple that lives across the street from me.
You want the spelling, Sarah?
I don't think it's going to help.
Okay.
It's a type
of no, it's a type of French red wine. It's really good. Beaujolais.
I love how we both at the same time. Matt just did that.
What do you got for us next?
What is the world's best-selling stout beer?
Frogger. Guinness.
That is correct. Yeah. Where did sushi originate?
Patty.
Japan.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Oh.
Frogger.
Interesting.
Frogger.
Don't tell me it was San Francisco.
No, incorrect.
What are you laughing at, producer Sarah? What do you got?
I'm going to guess Indonesia.
It's actually China.
Interesting.
Yeah. What meat is used in shepherd's pie?
Frogger.
Sarah.
Frogger.
That would be
Sarah.
lamb.
Correct.
Woohoo.
Pink ladies and Granny Smiths are what type of fruit?
Patty.
Sarah.
Frogger.
Sarah.
Apples.
Apples are correct. In what capital would you find the Little Mermaid statue?
Frogger.
Amsterdam. Incorrect.
Oh, man.
Sarah. Munich.
Incorrect. Patty, you got anything?
I'm gonna say
apples, Patty.
Apples.
Copenhagen.
I'm giving it to you.
I would have never gotten that.
Wow. How many measures of Gordon's gin are in a Vesper, James Bond's martini?
Ooh, Frogger. Shot and a half.
How many? No.
Okay.
Shaken, not stirred. I don't know.
3, actually.
Oh, okay.
We're on fire
He
today.
doesn't drink martinis with gin, though. He drinks them with vodka.
Are we
I
sure about
believe
that?
He uses Gordon's gin. What is the state animal of California?
Patty.
Go, Patty.
That's a bear.
I got Patty.
It's a bear.
It's the California grizzly bear.
And that grizzly bear was shot just up here in Placerita Canyon, by the way. Hey, Big T, we do have to wrap up. Patty, good job getting on the board there at the end. But Frogger barely nudged out producer Sarah for the win that time. Big T, thanks so much for swinging by. We'd also like to thank our guests, Robert Reyes, owner of Reyes Winery on Main, Dr. Claudia Acosta and Mike Frankie, who are hosting the Celebrate event this evening at the Canyon Country Community Center, Nicole Huguenin, iLead's Director of Arts Integration and Play, producer Sarah, engineer Patty, engineer Carlos, and thank you for listening. Join us again next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.